Christianity. The reason why it is dying is because Western Christians have been humbled by the Enlightenment. They have become the pussies, the doormats, the wimps, the limp-wristed, effeminized people of Europe. And no one can take that community seriously until Christians rediscover our strength of identity, founded upon the history of the Church, confident in Christian values and the culture that produces, confident and able to defend our beliefs and our community from those that would oppress it, suppress it, or dismiss it. No one will take us seriously. When we rediscover a muscular faith which our ancestors took for granted, then the Church will rise again.
What does muscular faith mean?
I've just explained it. See my previous answer. Well, I'm not going to repeat it for you.
You know what happened in the Dark Ages?
Yes.
What church did?
We're all over here right now.
People on
Many people showing their thoughts on different religions. From what I've seen already, a lot of people are reverted into Islam rather than just saying being born. Of course, it's a small factor. It's a factor, but people have also reverted to Islam. How many people right now reverted to Christianity?
So let me answer that question. Let me answer that question. In the fellowship that I go to, we have 2 converts from Islam. When I first got involved in witnessing to Muslims, a long time ago, if you met an ex-Muslim, it had a wow factor about it. It was like, whoa, you're an ex-Muslim? It was unusual. Now, nearly every fellowship that I go to has at least 1 or even 2 ex-Muslims, right? You and I both know that there are social, economic and political consequences to converting to Islam. Right, he isn't aware. So what I would encourage you to do, bro, is go and look up the case of Nisar Hussain. Nisar Hussain was a British Pakistani Muslim who became a Christian. And in Britain, in the United Kingdom, there was an attempt to kill him that came out of Christophobes in the Muslim community. One second, I'm going to return to it. Because you're saying you're not aware of the consequences. No. You're uncomfortable by the narrative that's being cast here. But you're going to have to listen. So, the fact of the matter is that this man endured years of persecution by his Muslim neighbours. And it's all documented. And that culminated with an attempt to kill him. It was caught on camera. They tried to beat him to death with a crowbar and a baseball bat. That's what happened to him. The British government washed their hands. The church leadership washed their hands because it was too politically sensitive to call a spade a spade. Now, back to your question. There are Muslims becoming Christians. I know them. I meet them. So, when we talk about what you can see, given the fact that converting away from Islam could cost you your life, your job, your family, your community, is it any wonder that it is not public? You asked about what you could see. I've addressed that point.
Somebody asked you a question, why is Islam raising, okay? And you said it's because it's due to birth rates, and you're not saying that.
And then you said that no one, you don't see people convert. No, you interrupted me.
I didn't interrupt
you. did. You interrupted me. Right. So let's be clear.
And said the same thing.
Christianity did say that it was about what you can see here in the park. We don't see people converting. That was the point that I was addressing. Make your next point. Thank you.
in this part today right now, there are people right now, I've seen, okay, people reverting to Islam.
And we
I'm
know,
walking around, I'm
we
just
know
here-
people are becoming
This is
Christian.
my first time here. I'm just here to learn the things, right? I've not once seen anybody becoming a Christian.
We know people have become Christian.
My man, I don't know personally anybody knows.
I know personally people have become
I'm not saying
Christian.
there isn't. I'm not saying there isn't though. We're talking about right now.
So what have you
the
proven?
participation, people increasing to Islam.
Yeah.
From what we see, is higher more Muslims that are reverting to Islam.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah,
just
that's-
birth rates.
I'm not-
It's not just birth rates.
So let's deal with that
do
point.
not, do not
Let's
just
deal with that point. Let's deal with that point. The brother's right. It is a contributing factor, the process of conversion. Yeah? That's not deniable. I'm not going to deny it.
high
And
factor.
certainly,
Very high
no, it's birth rates. It is honestly birth rates. But and it's also immigration as well. But there are converts. There are converts. If they're Muslim and they come here, they change their demographics. If there are converts, not denying that. But the idea that Muslims aren't leaving Islam is a myth, right? It is a myth. We know, for example, that there are Christians inside Saudi Arabia who have to keep their faith secret. Because if they become public about leaving Islam and becoming Christians, they will be killed. Do you know that Jesus is being worshipped inside Mecca? Do you know that Jesus is being worshipped inside Medina? Are you saying it's not a possibility?
No, I'm aware of.
It's not a possibility.
Anything's a possibility.
Anything's a possibility. I'm telling you, bro, it's true. Because Arab Christians, Saudi Arab Christians, they don't go to church in Saudi Arabia because it's illegal. So what they do is they go on holiday to where they're not known by anyone and go to a church there. And we know that because we meet them. We know that because we support them.
That's irrelevant to my part. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I've talked about conversion. And let's be clear, in a world in which the political class are desperately trying to silence legitimate criticism of Islam and creating a culture in which the only thing you can say about Islam is something positive, and if you criticize Islam, people have been indoctrinated by the liberal secular state to think that you're an Islamophobe. Of course, like this brother was doing behind the camera whilst I was talking. Yeah, he was doing it. I was criticizing Islam and he was calling me an Islamophobe. Yeah. Now, in that kind of environment, of course, many people who are unthinking, unscholarly, uneducated, who don't know church history, will be open to the invitation to Islam and not have the intellectual faculties to dismiss Islam. But in a world where Christians are mocked on TV, where we are dismissed, where our faith is accused of hate speech, where we are addressed as bigots, of course, in that environment, it takes more in the human heart to become Christian than it becomes Muslim. I'll give you an example. In my own work life, I fast for Lent. When I fast for Lent, in previous employment, I've had work colleagues. Notice how the Muslim is working the crowd. Listen to what I'm saying, not to the lies of the Dawah team. No, in terms of what happened to me, I fasted. God, bro, if you want to talk to him, can you go somewhere else? Yeah.
You got the balls
Listen
to
to
say
him talk to him.
You got the balls